Alright, this will be the video for writing short paper number 5, which includes target markets. The target markets is a fairly short paper. You're coming off describing the product in paper 1, what the vision is for that product, or the mission, goals and objectives, which was paper 2. The environment surrounding this product, which are papers 3 and 4, what's going on around this product. So now you're going to describe the target market for the product you've selected. Paper 5 also, this section of the marketing plan also starts the strategy portion of the marketing plan. The marketing plan strategy includes identifying the target market, and then what is the company going to do with the 4 P's, which is product, price, placement, and promotion. So what is the company going to do with those? When you identify the target market plus the marketing mix, the 4 P's, you've created the strategy. So paper 5 starts the strategy section of the marketing plan. Paper number 5 will have 2 sections. The first section will be the largest. It's the one that actually describes the target market. It is the target market section. So the target market section, I'm looking at my summary or outline for paper number 5. It says identify and describe in detail the product's primary target market. Primary target market means the market that they are most likely to go after, the one they want to identify and the product appeals to. It's the largest of the target markets. It's the one that has the most importance. The primary target market, primary being first. Companies have secondary, tertiary, on down the line target markets. They have multiple ones. I'm only asking you to identify the first one, the main target market for your product. The way I want you to identify them is describe them in great detail. I want demographic descriptors, which includes age, gender, income, occupation, anything like that. Geographic descriptors, what country, maybe even what region of the world, but what country or countries, what region of the United States, what state, is it city or urban, is it certain neighborhoods, certain parts of the country, certain whatever, zip codes, metropolitan areas. Describe the target market geographically. Also use psychographic descriptors. That's just a fancy word for lifestyles. Are there certain lifestyles attached to your product, or attached to that your target market participates in? For example, soccer moms, outdoor lifestyle, the partier lifestyle, the college student lifestyle, the whatever, on down the line. Is there a lifestyle associated with your product? The gamer lifestyle, that kind of thing. And then the fourth and final descriptor that you can use is behavioral dimensions. This would be things like, are they heavy consumers of soft drinks? Are they light consumers of soft drinks? Their behavioral dimension is that they buy based on the safety of the product, and they search only safety things, like buying an automobile, etc. So behavioral dimensions. I would like for you to use all 4 of these, but you may not be able to describe your target market, your primary target market. So use as many of those as you can. If you use 3 of the 4, fine. If you only have 1 or 2 demographic items and then nothing else, that's not enough. You need to be able to describe in detail the primary target market for your particular product. Now, if you want to take a paragraph for each one of those, a paragraph for demographic descriptors, a paragraph for geographic, etc., that's fine. If you want to try to include them all together, that's fine as well. It's however you want to structure the paper. Now, before you, there's one more thing that needs to go into the target market section. I've asked you to describe in detail the primary target market. Okay, however you want to do it, using the descriptors I just gave you. And all those are discussed in the textbook. There's one thing I'd like for you to do, one more thing I want you to do. The last paragraph of the target market section, I want the last paragraph to identify other target markets, in other words, the secondary, the tertiary target markets that your product might be targeted toward. Now, this is only a quick identifier of those other markets. There's not great detail. It's just one paragraph describing other markets that the product might be targeted toward. For example, let's say my product is Crayola crayons. The first paragraphs of this section of target markets, I'm going to go into great detail. The primary target market for Crayola crayons are female head of households, middle income folks, the stay-at-home mom lifestyle, etc. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about that. Then I'm going to conclude the target market section with a paragraph that would state something like, there are many other target markets that Crayola uses, targets with this particular product. There is the target market of grandparents, institutions like daycares and churches, teachers, the children themselves, etc. Okay, so then I'm not going to describe them. I'm just going to identify them and then move on. Just one paragraph there to identify them. And that will complete the target market section of paper number 5. Now, the next section, the second section of paper number 5 is only one paragraph long. So it's a very short section. It is answering the question, or basically addressing your product's position. The product's position. Some of you are having trouble staying focused on a product, the individual product, and you're going off talking about corporations. We're talking about your product. What is the position of your product? Now, this is covered in the textbook in Chapter 7, but the product's position is this: the position in the consumer's mind. When we talk about the product's position, we're talking about the position in the consumer's mind. Now, I have questions that this section should answer. Things like, what is the image of the product? Some people say that the product's position and its image are the same thing. What is the first thing that consumers will think about when they hear your individual product's name? What is it they think about? That's the position that's in their mind. Get to the point and move on. Your brand name is probably going to go a long way in telling what the position of that product is. If your brand name is Diet Coke, then the position is it's a soft drink, Coca-Cola flavored, but it's doesn't have it's healthier for you because it's diet. So something along those lines. A lot of times, the reason why I say get to the point is because students will start this section, or the positioning, and go, positioning is the image of the product. Every product has a position, and it's the position in the consumer's mind, and every product should have a position, and that position should identify what consumers think of first, and that's what the product's position is. And you're beating around the bush. I don't want you to define every single term that's thrown out there or that you're going to be discussing. Most everyone reading this marketing plan will understand the terms. Don't define terminology. Take the terminology and apply it to your product. What is your product's position? What is the image of your product? What is the first thing the consumer thinks about? The primary target market associates what image with your product? That's the positioning. We're talking 2, 3, 4 sentences here. Cite, reference properly. You do not have to use a page identification in the citation unless it is a quotation, unless you're citing a quotation. Your cites are built into the paper to be as short as possible. When you start putting extra words in there, like the word reference or a page identification, and it's not necessary, you're defeating the purpose of a reference system. The cites are in the paper to be very brief as possible, as short as possible, a single number, those kinds of things. Then you go into the detail on the reference page on what that reference is and the pages that are, the information's coming from, etc. The only thing that needs to have a page identified, the only requirement for a page identifier in the citation is a direct quote. Okay, so that is paper number 5, 2 sections. The first section's your longest, probably 2, 3, 4 paragraphs long, and then the second section is 1 paragraph and 1 paragraph only, which is product positioning.